Hey, how's it going, guys? Double Wide 6 here, and we're looking at a John Deere engine. And according to my note, it says no compression, broken connecting rod, and a question mark. Well, we're gonna part that thing out and put it all in a box so it's easier to store and then easier to use the parts when I need them. And that's kind of what I do. If you look here, here's a box. This is a smaller Briggs & Stratton engine, and it just has all the parts in it, easy, ready to go. This is actually from that engine. It was from a pressure washer. I made a video, I think it was called "Why is my engine blowing smoke?" And I took that apart, put it in a box, and I also had the reason as to why it's blowing smoke. So anyhow, here's the piston from that video. Why is my pressure washer smoking? This is completely scored. So the entire cylinder was scored, and so is the piston. That's why all that smoke was blowing out. So that engine was shot. So I just wanted to show you that. So as I said, this engine came off of a John Deere self-propelled bagging mower. Pretty nice looking mower. Had a sign on it out in the yard that said free, and then in real small letters it says "but it doesn't work." So I picked it up and I threw it on the truck, and if you take a listen, you hear all this clunking inside. So something's definitely wrong inside here. That little clamp on there is just holding the band brake so I could pull it over so you could hear that clunking sound. So I find it real handy to have a couple engines that are broken laying around for parts. I always drain the oil out of them before I store them, and I always put a card on them telling kind of what's wrong with them. You know, if they're leaking oil or missing parts or something like that, I try and leave a note so I know what's going on. I usually like to have up to about 6 engines in a box. That way there should be enough for parts, you know, depending on the different brands. I try and take these things apart using power tools just so that it doesn't take forever. So usually I just use air ratchets or impact wrenches to keep things moving along. Right here's the air filter cover. This, I gotta tell you, it's probably one of the most ordered parts off eBay, because like every time I get a mower, you know, they have problems with it. They take the air cover off, the filter cover off, and lose it. So you know, these things are really easy to sell, and they're great to have, so I don't have to buy any on eBay. Right here is the fuel tank. Sometimes these things leak every once in a while at the seam, sometimes up top where the cap is. Really, they can leak anywhere, so it's good to have these on hand. The carburetors are great. A lot of times that's what goes wrong with mowers, and also they're easy to sell. Another good thing to have is these governor linkages. Sometimes you try and go and fix something and this is bent, and they're really hard to get straightened out and running right if they have a bad bend in them. Also, the governor springs, these wear out. It's nice to have them on hand. These covers are great because they have the spring and the rope. It's already wound, ready to go. Well, I don't know how well you can see it. We're looking down in the oil spout hole, and I can see a piece of metal, and it's a piece of the broken connecting rod. This is just an example. I have them on my bench. Here's your piston, and this is the connecting rod, and basically what I'm seeing is a piece of this metal down here is broken off on the other engine. So here's a good used coil. These things go bad, you'll know they're bad if you don't have spark, or you're running your mower and it gets hot and then all of a sudden you lose spark. That's what they do when they start going bad. And over here, connected to it, we have the brake assembly. These are good to have. I've already knocked off some of these brake pads when I've changed flywheels because I didn't keep my hand on the band brake. So, you know, they're just good to have parts. Well, I had a little brain fart here. This is the valve cover. I'm going to leave that on there because I can remove the entire cylinder head. So we'll pull that off and keep it all together. Now we loosened up those bolts. We should be able to pop this thing right out of here. Now we have the entire assembly in case we need it for another mower, because all this is good. So we'll try and pop the flywheel. There we go. Got it in the vise. I didn't want to put it in there too tight. Here's a great tool if you don't have one. It's a stubby 1/4 inch ratchet, air ratchet. Looking at this engine, I can tell the bottom seal is leaking, so where the crankshaft comes out, your blade would be on here. This is leaking here. Sometimes that's pretty common with lawnmowers. You'll see oil leaking out of them. Here's a remove that. You just take a drywall screw, put in your drill, push down a little bit, and that should cause it to pop right up. You want to go easy with your drill, so set the clutch pretty low, and then you could slip your seal out. And I got to remove this key in order to get it up. And then you put a new one in, get a big socket or a pipe, and just tap it down into place, put some grease around it. Alright, I think I got all the bolts out, so this is, I guess, what we've been watching the video for. We're going to look in here, and sure enough, we do have a broken connecting rod. It's kind of dark, but if you look right here, you can see the broken off connecting rod. And because it's broken, I can push the piston right out. It's a shame. Piston looks real nice, no scoring whatsoever, but here's where it broke. Probably lack of oil. I'm just guessing. Who knows? Here's a look at the block. The block's in real nice shape, no damage with it. I mean, there's some little metal chips in there, and the bore for the piston's like beautiful. All the damage is right here. You can see that's the piston and the connecting rod that's broken, and up here on the crankshaft you could see it's really scored up and gouged right here where the connecting rod was connected. So yeah, these two parts are shot. Speaking of parts, you know, if you ever need any parts, you're one of my viewers, just let me know. I do eBay. I could hook you up, you know, so if you see anything, just shoot me an email and we can work something out. So I'm Double Wide 6. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and let me know what you think. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Have a good one.